Hi, I'm Jason Noyes.
And I'm Ashley Noyes. I guess timeline of how things happened. Noyes Irrigation Services Incorporated. Studio Designs was the screen printing business that we had. Plainsman Inn and RV Park and mini storage. Route 61 Roller Dome. Flying N Farms, that's our cattle. And Noyes Quality Homes.
So I originally became self-employed kind of on a whim. I actually was let go from the job because they didn't know if my position would be available any longer. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I ran into a guy that had ran an irrigation company, and I met him like 10 minutes after I'd walked out of my job wondering what I was going to do. And I looked at him and I said, "Would you ever be interested in selling your pivot dealership?" He said, "Yeah, absolutely." We just went down, looked at what he had. It was a small inventory and a pickup, and so I started a few jobs and started working from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night to make everything work, and paid off the note in no time. And
try and keep things simple and affordable. Office in the house, inventory in the garage. A little while later, I came home one night. I had seen on Facebook that a gal here in town that had a screen printing business was gonna sell. And just casual dinner talk one night, "Hey, did you hear they're selling their screen printing business?" And Jason says, "You wanna buy it?" I said, "No, I have no skills. I have no idea what that entails." And he's like, "Well, go look at it." So we looked. I spent a week or so training, and I thought, I guess I could try this.
everything we've ever done, there's some chance or by chance along the way. So the building wasn't part of it, but we knew we shouldn't run it in our garage. And I was actually down at a sale, a land auction, I think. And the guy goes, "Man, I'll sell you that little building for little to nothing." So I just pulled out a checkbook and wrote it. I was like, I called her, I'm like, "Hey, I bought a building today. We can go remodel it and try to make it work." So.
I did that after hours from my day job for a while until we felt like be sufficient enough to give me a full-time income on my side, and I could lose my day job. So one on irrigation, one on screen printing.
I have got to find some property to at least store my outdoor inventory, like pipes and things like that, because people weren't exactly happy that my alleyway was getting used as a business. Yes. So, we were looking, and luckily the neighbors were patient, and they, just had concerns, and we kept it driving slow through there and things like that. But a friend said, "Well, I would sell the motel. It has a lot out back." I'm like, "Well, I'm interested in the lot for sure. But I'm not really interested in selling only the lot." And I said, "Well, tell me more about it. I want to know more about the motel." Like, well, I brought that home to Ashley.
No. No, we need no more things.
And that is one that this works. We're getting our lot essentially for free. All we have to do is manage this other business in the sense, and then we get to use the lot, because then there was mini storage and RV parks. And
Ashley says no. Accountant says no, but Jason says yes. And we buy a motel and RV park, and it works well. It was really a good investment. A little while later then, by less than a year, we happen upon skating rink for sale, and Ashley says no, Jason says yes, and we buy a skating rink. And that was a whole nother ball game, and that is up and operating and running well. We ran that ourselves for the first year and then hire staff, all while continuing to run the screen printing during the week and irrigation during the week and skating on the weekends. That was literally everyday job. In all of our potential adventures, Jason usually comes up with the idea because he seems to be the more fearless one. I seem to be the more cautious. Can we do this? How far will we push ourselves? So typically, I say no immediately, and then we hear each other out, and then we eventually decide between the two of us that it's something that will function and work well. Ended up having my father-in-law come out and start working for us. He became a contractor, doing some side jobs here and there, working for us. Construction company aspires, and we fall into a house project on a foreclosed property, which then baby steps led to purchasing the property in foreclosure, and we share that property with the housing and the irrigation now.
So in the wintertime, every time it's cold out, I'm like, oh, we can now work inside, you know? So the diversification part was just great. And so we started up the home building again. We're like, let's just go for it. Like, I can do the work, but it's her that does, you know, the marketing and the setting up the business. Now she does all the bidding.
Got to the point, like, our lives have just like slowly, we take on these ventures, and everyone is not just a venture, it's an adventure, you know, because it's all new. But the housing deal at first was more, I did licensure, I got all of our accounts with the state, you know, I did all of our inspection stuff, you know, all of our documentation, our serial numbers, those things that he has no clue, you know, I mean, that's where it has to be a partnership. Like, I have my delegations and he has his, and I don't dive into his very much, as well as he does not dive into mine.
One of the biggest things about being self-employed is you're forever changing, like, all the time. Like, it's helped me in my personal life. Like, I've become more patient.
Well, and initially, when the irrigation started, it was like, oh, okay, we've got to find a secretary. Do you want to do that? No, I will not work for you.
That was one thing we both had
Yeah.
in common at first. Like, we just don't think it'll be good because
You come down on your spouse because you're comfortable way harder than you would on someone you're paying to be there. And it can drive a wedge.
I did know that at myself, I will yell at you when I wouldn't yell at somebody else, you know. I knew that about myself, you know, and she knew. She's like, I'm not going to listen to you very well.
I
Like,
would tell you to jump in a lake, and I would walk out the door.
and so, but then later in life we learned, I mean, again, this will go somewhere else, but, you know, we went through some counseling in 10 years into marriage that I really believe everybody should go through at 10 years into marriage, that we actually learned, like, you know, when you love somebody, you're way harder on them. Like, you're just,
Because
you know, they'll be
expect them
there.
to be
You know,
Yeah.
they'll be there. Like, they'll just be there. They'll put up with it. Like,
So we had to figure out how things were going to function, and we each had to give up a little bit of time to go there. And then,
or pride.
yeah. And then we slowly just, you know, each step led to the next, and we slowly, like, okay, I'll help you do this, or I'll help you do that. And, you know, in order to get family time in the summer, we would ride along.
You
And we
have to have
slowly
a
learned to
solid,
work together.
yeah. I mean, you have a solid partner along the way, because, I mean, I remember one Mother's Day, I was digging out a Z-drop and the kids were swimming in a cattle tank
Yeah.
right beside it, and I was fixing stuff, and she came along with more support. You know, it really wasn't to actually help hold a nut or
I
bowl.
was
You know,
not helping.
but she was there. You know. But so yeah, I mean, the answer, and then you learn each other's strengths, and so at some point we developed to where it's like, okay, this is your deal, this is your wheelhouse. Like,
A knowing, like, we know each other's skills, we know each other's strong suits, we know each other's tempers.
and sometimes, like, we miss something and you can get emotional about it and upset, like it didn't happen, and you don't know why, what's coming in the future.
I think
Okay.
initially, where he ran mostly the irrigation himself and I ran screen printing in the beginning, we each developed our own methods of management.
Failure wasn't an option. I mean, that's just, I don't know that we set things up as, you know, it's just, you just work harder. Like, you just try harder. Then if something didn't work, you redevelop until it works. Like,
You just have to set a firm line of this is what I want this to become, and find a way to get there. You know, and then once you reach a certain level, you have to give back. At first, that's a hard decision to make. Like, Jason we had to sit and talk. He wanted to join the fire department, and then he took an EMT class and he became an EMT, and then I joined the Alumni Association, and then I became the president of the Alumni Association, and then I joined Teammates and he joined Planning and Zoning, and, we held positions on chamber. There's, you have to give back to your community because it needs to be able to thrive as well. And if you want support from your community, you have to put yourself out there also and show them that you want them to support you.
It means being transparent, which can be good and can be bad. We both have a history. We both come from things that we aren't proud of. I mean, everybody does. Again, this would hit towards my faith side of things, but I'm very transparent, and it's so you have personal growth along the way. Like you're growing businesses, but you have personal growth. Had I not become self-employed, I wouldn't have near as much personal growth. Self-motivation, if I put that out there, I can achieve it. So another goal, I can achieve that. And I'll make another goal and I can achieve that.
It's like creating, it's artistic almost on my side, is just being able to see something grow. You have this little tiny thing and then you can just watch it grow and you get to make it what you want. And then being able to give to the community and provide something that benefits your community rather than just watching things die off, especially in small town Nebraska. And then hopefully someday leaving a legacy for your kids.
People really want to support you if you're passionate about what you're doing.